Hello, Wastelanders. Vlad here. It's October, which means Halloween is right around the corner. So today we're going to go over some awesome camp locations to build your Halloween camp in Fallout 76. Let's jump on in. We're going to start things off at this Hopewell Cave Cemetery. This is a favorite location amongst Fallout 76 players each year for Halloween. Why? Because it fits perfect with the theme. You've got tombstones everywhere, you've got open caskets, you've got body parts, you've got little eerie candles going in different places. You even have a little altar up towards the front with skulls arranged on these little pedestals. So a really nice fitting themed location to build your camp, either by making this part of the backyard or making it the full camp itself. And for this one, we are on the map right next to Hopewell Cave. Our next location is located in the forest, and it's this nice forest scrapyard. This location is brand new for Fallout 76 players to be able to camp in, as far as coming around with the Fallout Worlds update. Before that, it was not a campable location, but it has this really cool junk fence that goes around the whole perimeter, plus a bunch of little clutter things that are all around. And I think this would make a really good place to make like a maze type thing, especially since you have these gates kind of built into the fencing that you can use. And you could also repair some of those fencing using your own little junk fences if you purchase those from the atomic shop. But I think this would make a really good place for some sort of maze, maybe even a little haunted house type thing. And for this one, we are again located in the forest, and we're just over to the side of Vault 76. For this next one, we are going over to the middle of the forest, right on the edge of the Savage Divide, because this is not too far away from the White Springs, and the Fisher Site is right up against the road. But you have an NPC that's able to spawn here. There's doing some tailgating and some heavy drinking, it seems. But we also have this little tree. Actually, is more than just a little tree. It's quite big. Makes a really cool spot to possibly build some sort of tree house. And then you have these cultist little totems and skulls and body parts floating around. But pretty much the whole place is open, which makes it a prime place for you to build whatever you like to fit what you're getting out of it. And we're here on the map just to the side of this Fisher Site in the bottom of the forest. This next location is pretty cool. We have twin houses, and this is for those of you who want to make a traditional trick-or-treating type experience, and you get two houses that you can decorate for the price of one camp. And it's really cool. The porches are pretty big and empty, so that means you can do what you want with them. And the insides are also well furnished, so you have a lot of stuff in place, so you don't have to use your budget to build it. You don't have to build the structure, so all of your budget can go to building a really cool trick-or-treating location for the other Fallout 76 players to come and visit your camp. I believe Bethesda is planning on putting something out to where you can trick-or-treat in people's camps. Hopefully it's something different than the existing hand in a candy bowl. But we are here on the map for this location near the Toxic Valley. This next location is pretty unique. We have a Mothman Megalith shrine that has been built out of some rocks and some rebar. You can see there in the video that we have a little offering plate with some caps on it. We have an alien plushie, and we also have some flowers that have been left as alterings, and then someone's gone ahead and drawn some stuff on the rocks. So this one's got a Mothman cult type theme to it, and otherwise we're in the forest, and it has your normal forest terrain that you can build in. So you got a pretty good open template here for you to build whatever you want around this megalith. And for this one, we are here in the forest, just on the other side of the Landview Lighthouse. This next location is what I like to call the Walter White Money Pit, and we have a Vault-Tec scientist who has been trying to bury a bunch of barrels of money out in the middle of nowhere. He was obviously interrupted by something, and his body is still there, and so is the money. So I assume it was when the bombs fell, because the money has no value at this point. But we're here in this location just north of Sugar Grove. This next one is a Sacrificial Site for our Mothman Cultist aficionados. We have a sacrificial stone at the bottom, and then we have some of the traditional cultist totems and statues made out of those vine structures and some skulls up at the top. But you also have some candles, you have a water source, we have these ash roses spread out throughout, and we also have baskets full of skulls. Like, you don't find just baskets full of skulls in different places, so these are kind of a nice little unique place where you can also have resources. There's a cat stash that you see there. But this is a pretty cool place, I think, especially for those who want to build a cultist themed camp. And for this one, we are here in the ash heap all the way to the south. This next location is a pretty cool place. I'd call it just the cul-de-sac because we have a road here that leads to a bunch of other houses. But if you could actually build your house here with it centered on this road, so it looks like it is the driveway into your house, and build this really cool trick-or-treating type location. You also have this bus stop across the street that makes a cool place to add into the build. But we are here just south of Big Al's Tattoo Parlor. This one I am calling the Burning Chair, and it's a pretty cool little spot, but not a whole lot going on other than we have this cultist site with a burning chair. Unfortunately, you're not able to sit in the chair, which takes away some of its value for me, but we are here just north of Vault 76. This next location is creepy just because it has a ton of mannequins just set up, and obviously if you're expecting to be alone out in the unknown or wasteland, finding a bunch of mannequins set up can be a little bit unnerving. Outside we have this derelict hot tub that you could kind of incorporate into the build. We have a bunch of water around, so you have some resources if that's your end goal. Plus you have this jet ski, and who the heck doesn't want a jet ski in their camp? Even if we can't ride it, it's a jet ski. And then we have our little bar area. Apparently someone has staged the bar and people having drinks and mingling, but it's a little unnerving again to find just these mannequins. Plus there's some skeletons in the bed. Also, these guys apparently were knocked out trying to get their drinks, so something sinister was going on here because those skeletons came after the war because this lake bed wasn't dry then, and we're here on the dry lake bed just to the north of Newcat. Next up, we are at the Kanawha Cemetery, where you have this really cool Mothman cultist themed shed. It even has Mothman eggs that are available. Plus you have the aesthetics of the cemetery out in the front. Now you do have to be particularly careful where you can place your camp unit here. So I'm going to run around with the camp unit out just so you can get an idea of what works and what doesn't work. But you can get the front end of the cemetery put in there pretty well. Moving towards the center, things turn red. When you're coming around the shed with the Mothman stuff, you're good in front of it, but if you go too far in front, it's going to turn red. And then if you continue around the perimeter, you can usually get it to turn green. You really run into problems as you get really close to the church over at the south side, actually. And then as you include this little mausoleum into the camp space, it starts to turn red. But we're here at the Kanawha County Cemetery. This next one is really cool. I'm calling it the pumpkin patch because that's what it is. It's all these pumpkins, and there's a little note that says that this is a wild pumpkin patch that somebody found, and apparently the husband came back and made it up with these mannequins after the bombs dropped, and I'm assuming that he lost his wife when that happened. But you have the pumpkins, which fits the Halloween theme. Plus you have that little candy bowl sitting there with two chairs, which is perfect for trick-or-treating. So we also have these cliffs on either side, so not a lot of working room unless you want to build down on the bottom side of the cliff or hanging over the edge of the cliff. You can also see this little bomb crater from the cliff. But we are here just to the south of the Freak Show and north of the monorail elevator. This next one has been a favorite for Mothman cultists since the game came out. We have this cultist-themed tree structure with a bunch of different totems lining as you go to that central tree, which has an even bigger totem inside of it. And at the bottom of the tree, you will find some dead cultists who met their fate somehow, but it doesn't really tell us how they ended up dead, but they may have sacrificed themselves, as we often see at these type of locations, but a really cool spot to build, and we are just to the edge of the Point Pleasant area on the map. This next location is brand new as well, and it's perfect for any Halloween camp build. We have some hay bales that are made to look like little ants or spiders. I would say spiders, but they all have 6 legs, so they've got to be ants, or somebody just doesn't know what an arachnid is. But anyway, we have these hay bales that are meant to resemble some spiders, and we have a full house over here that we can take advantage of, which is already started to be decorated with Halloween stuff. Inside you have some bowls on the table, Halloween themed again. You also have this little cubby area that is around the perimeter in like an L shape that you can kind of throw things in the window and stuff like that. There is a basement to the house that could also be used. It has some desks in it right now, along with some washing and drying machines. And then we also have an upstairs, which could be used. Now, there are some enemies that spawn in here, so just be warned, you may have to deal with those on occasion. But I think it's worth it for this awesome location for Halloween. And we're here on the map at the bottom of the Savage Divide. Now, last but surely not least is this Cultist Worship Pyre out on the edge of the Cranberry Bog, and it is my favorite. The lighting is perfect, the content is perfect. You have this totem that is lit up, and you have the worshiping cultist at their little altar. It is perfect. And we are in the Cranberry Bog, right next to the Old Mold Quarry. Great place to build your Halloween camp. So that's going to do it for today's camp locations video, everybody. Hopefully that inspires you for your Halloween builds. And there are plenty of other awesome sites out there for this type of thing, but I think these bring unique elements to the table, and I hope to see some awesome camps built at these locations. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest content from Vladministrator Gaming. And until next time, I'll see you in the Wasteland.